Hello. Oh, how is everybody? I am trying to get my stuff organized. I am trying to get these 15 inches finished in the sweater. It is never ending. Was today your boat day or was that yesterday? I am also tired because I had to get up at 7 a.m. and that is a time I normally go to sleep rather than get up. But here I am anyway. Also, everybody hydrate with at least something. Doesn't have to be water, but it should be something. So, last I measured this nonsense, it was like 14 inches. I think we're close. I'm going to measure it again because this is the sweater that never ends. Oh no, that sounds pretty terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you missed the boat. I hope it's not anything like permanent and fixes itself soon. Okay, so we're almost at 14. Okay, I will call that 14. This is the never-ending thing. It like keeps going and going, and it takes forever and ever and ever. But someday we will be done with these 15 inches because it's only 15 inches. It shouldn't be that bad. Well, I'm glad you're better. That is good. I'm sorry you missed the boat stuff though. Hopefully there will be more boat opportunities. It is like 4 rows. It's just part of the problem was I was going to do it yesterday and I was knitting and I literally just kept falling asleep. And then I was working on it earlier today and I started knitting and then I had the world's worst, most terrible headache. And then I had to go and like do stuff. So I am determined because mostly I'm like really bored with this pattern. So I would like to like do the 2 inches of border or whatever it is. Yeah. Also, I have now moved on to my fourth set of 2 skeins. So we are now, I guess, using skein 7 and 8. So I'm about halfway done with the yarn. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I just widely continued knitting and that was not correct. And now we need to move this stitch over one. How is your sweater going? I forget who it is that just started in the channel who is like, I don't know, almost done in one day, who's like knitting like insanely fast, even faster than Zakayla. Ooh, okay. Well, you've been not well, so like that makes sense. You have time, cause like I don't think Mousy is ahead of me yet, although she might be, but like we're all kind of still in this stage of things. I did that. Now I need to do it again. I'm so glad I don't need a cable needle for this, or I would be like missing it out right now. 1, 2, 3. And that is that was row 99 on the sides. This is going to be row 101 on the back. Like total of this chart, so. I think my issue right now is the same issue I have when I'm doing shawls, because most of the knit shawls that I do start at the neck and then just increase infinitely forever. So somewhere like, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through, you realize that each row is upward of like 400 stitches, and it takes you two hours to do a lace row and then a plain back row. And so you can't just like pick it up and do a little bit and put it down. It has to be sort of this whole production. And that's where my shawl knitting tends to grind to a slow, agonizing halt as I realize that I need to only pick it up if I have like a chunk of time that is quote unquote like worth it to get stuff out. And it becomes like super non-portable, and it's just like a massive pain in the behind. And this sweater is like complicated pattern-wise enough to have at least some of that, and just wide enough that it has some of that. Okay, back chart this row. So it becomes just like a little bit tedious, which is where I'm at right now. Cable crossover. Moving the purl over again. It's like weird half cable things are, well, weird. They are just weird. I don't mind them, but I don't love them either. Seed stitch. Yeah, I haven't remembered to press my buttons yet. Also, like things I don't have in buttons and therefore need to see if I'm actually able to do that. That work? That did work. Yay. Sometimes I don't actually know how Twitch works. I am totally a pro at this streaming nonsense. Okay. Where were we? I think we just did the 6. Yeah, we just did the 6, so now we do another crossover, but the other way. We will not split the double stitches and suddenly have more than previous number of stitches, because that's happened. As that has totally happened. Okay. Now we need to move the stitchy thing over again. Like, makes sense. It's how we turn the cables, but still. This one is crossover this way. The right hand side in front as opposed to behind. And these. Oh, I love that icon. That is an adorable purple cat. And also getting my mouse is not going to help me click things on my phone, which is where my pattern is. Sometimes things are complicated. This is now towards the end part of this row, so I have not had a tablet in a little while, and I wanted to get a tablet, and whatchamacallit? Oh yeah, and then somebody said I should get Pattern Keeper, and Pattern Keeper only exists on Android. And I was like, okay, you know what? This is fortuitous because I need a new tablet, and a new iPad is like $1 billion. But a new Lenovo tablet is like $100. So I went and got a fairly cheap Lenovo M11. So I could use it with Pattern Keeper, which I've since decided I actually don't want to use. I actually want to use Maker XR, which is on both. But my Knit Companion is on my iPhone. And, oh, thank you for the follow. And I have it, like I have the free version of it on my tablet. But because it's Android, I'd have to like buy it separately, and I do not want to buy it separately. I have concerns about getting used to electronics. Not because there's like anything wrong with it, or because I think they're going to be like whatever, but I just feel like I am inheriting somebody else's problem if I do that. And like, you know, I work in software, so most of the time I can totally just like suck it up and buy things. But you know, like I need to be able to use an Android device too. So anyway, so I have an unpaid version of Knit Companion on my tablet. So I am actually right now using Touch Portal on my tablet, which is it's like a software version of a Stream Deck, which, by the way, I highly recommend. It's amazing. I can make buttons. It's great, and it was like, I don't know, I think $7. But I got used to having my patterns on my phone all the time, so. But like, I totally get not wanting to risk your phone dying. I usually use my phone when I stream, right? Like both for Touch Portal and for like I monitor my stream, right? Like I have my secondary account, that's my phone account, that is not subscribed, so I see like when commercials are happening and what everything looks like and what everything sounds like. But I can't really do that if I'm doing a pattern. So right now the tablet is functioning as those things, and this is the first time I've been watching and monitoring my stream on my tablet, and that's been actually kind of awesome. So there is that. All right. So that was one row. All of that time. All of that time was one row. But it's okay. Row 100 time. It is a very bulky sweater, which is not bad. But I am moving to the desert, so. Yeah, I am. I'm using Woolies held double. I wanted to get the bulky yarn, but Woolies was on sale. And this is like a higher percentage acrylic than I literally ever choose to use. Again, it was on sale. And um, with like my move upcoming, and it's just like everything is, I'm trying to be a little bit conscious. And this was a very like last minute people I was watching stream said things. Looking at you, Ian, about how like, oh yeah, we're doing this thing and it'll be great fun, and we're gonna race to see who does it first. Anyway, I'm very easily influenced, and therefore I was like, oh yes, a last minute unplanned unbudgeted for project, obviously that's what my life needs and my finances. So on sale for 16 skeins of yarn was pretty important, as far as those sorts of features go. So I went with the on sale yarn. Yeah, people like show something that they're working on stream or are gonna be working on, and immediately I'm like, oh my god, I am a joiner, I do not want to miss out, I too am doing this thing. I am trying to make myself not be thinking that I'm gonna do that cross stitch pattern that Kayla was showing that everybody's gonna do together on stream starting in January, because let me tell you, it is a $40 pattern, and the thread and fabric kit for it is like $87, and that is a lot more dollars than I want to put into a pattern for a cross stitch, no matter how cool it is. Especially like while I'm in the middle of planning a move and all that stuff. But like, mark my words, January's gonna roll around, everybody's gonna start doing it, and there will I be, having spent all that money because I'm a dumbass. With low impulse control, I guess. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of days ago, and I was like, yeah, my executive dysfunction is not a thing that doesn't let me start or finish projects. My executive dysfunction is how I buy things all the time. So here's the thing. How many hours do you think you're gonna spend knitting it? Like, figure out how many hours you're gonna spend knitting it, and think about it this way. Like, I'm assuming I'm gonna spend probably like, I don't know, 20 to 40 hours. Let's say. As much as I grumble about it, I'm having a lot of fun. What am I paying per hour of fun? Like, what are you paying per hour of fun on your sweater? Because you have to think about it that way. You can't think about it in terms of like, oh, it's a $260 sweater. Because, like, I don't want to speak for you, but I would never buy a $260 sweater. But I will absolutely spend $260 on, I don't know, 26 hours of fun activity with my friends on the internet. Right? And not only would I, but like I do for all kinds of other similar things. Because that makes it like, I don't know, $10 an hour of fun. I spent more on movies I don't like. I spent more on, going to see a baseball game with my friend because she likes baseball, even though I hate it. So, like, I have to break it down that way. Otherwise, like, yeah, it becomes like, what the hell am I doing spending that kind of money on a sweater? Because, like, even with Woolies, it's still like, I don't know, $100. Yeah, right? When you think about it that way, $5.20 an hour of fun is like Like, it's not nothing, but it's not horrible. And you're doing it because you enjoy doing it. You're not doing it because you desperately need a sweater and you're gonna like freeze to death without it. Because if that was the case, you would go to Goodwill and buy a $5 sweater. Worst case, right? Or you would go to, I don't know, whatever, Target and buy a $25 sweater. Because who the hell buys a $260 sweater? But we make $260 sweaters. Right. Right. So that's that. You sort of, you have to think about it that way, or it becomes very sad and depressing. You think about it. You have to think about it in terms of fun, and that doesn't mean that it's trivial to be able to afford it, right? Like I'm not saying like, oh yeah, no, it's trivial, it's not a real amount of money. But you have to think about what you are paying for, because you're not paying for the cardigan. That's not what you're paying for when you do that. And it helps that it's like a small business and a friend's like yarn that was dyed to the color that you specifically wanted, right? Like that makes it more fun and more cool as well. But at the end of the day, you're paying for entertaining yourself, and you have to break it up that way. Yep, that is the exact phrase. You're paying for the experience. You're paying for the experience. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the only way to like reasonably think about the funds that I spend on my crafts, and not just sort of think that I'm an idiot who's wasting money. Because I don't think that I am an idiot who's wasting money. I think that I am paying what the experience is worth, and that experience is worth that money to me. Right? Like the same reason that some people pay a lot of money to jump out of a perfectly good airplane, for example. You do, and I do. I tell my family that, and you know what? They've stopped giving me shit about it when I explained it that way. I said, Mom, how much money are you spending on fancy French face cream? Because it makes you feel good. This is the thing that makes me feel good, and I'm getting many, many hours of fun out of it. And my dad spends lots of money on going on like hiking trips and stuff, and it's the same thing, right? Like, it's just, yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. So, like, let me tell you, I go and I get my hair done professionally. It's blue and it's purple, and I get it done by a professional dude. And I spend a lot of money on my hair, too. And I do it every 3 months. And not only do I divide it by the time, oh, thank you. Do I divide it by the time that I'm going to have that hair? Right? Like, it's 3 months. What is that per day? But also, like, I budget for it. I put like money aside every week so that I have that amount at the end of 3 months. And I do the same for yarn usually too. I super budget for things like that. I have like a yarn budgeting bucket. But the point was that this was an unbudgeted for cardigan. It was in addition to the other yarn purchases I was doing. So, 1, 2, 3. This is the first of the 5. I used to be the person who like had a really good job, made a seemingly insane amount of money and was like always kind of out of money because I was spending it sort of without really thinking about what I needed to spend it on. And then I got a new budgeting software and like it fucking changed my life and how I deal with money. So I am very much a true believer of the budget stuff. Yeah, I sifted through my stash like a bunch because I needed to pare down. I ended up mailing a big chunk of my fiber to Sleeping Luna Design to take to a shop near her because they do like secondhand yarn sales. And I was like, I'm going to donate to them. And I kind of pared it down to only the yarn that I really wanted to keep because I have to ship it all in a shipping container on a boat with my stuff to move it over. So right now, all of my yarn that is not this project, one other project, and 2 spinning fibers is actually in vacuum sealed bags in my best friend's freezer for a month. Because that'll guarantee that I'm not bringing any potential moths or anything over. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait. Do you not know that? Yes, I am. I am leaving the country. End of August. I am moving out of the country. Because everything here is the way that it is, and my entire family's elsewhere. So I am moving to join them. This is why, like, all of my house stuff that I've been kind of mentioning a little bit offhand is today they came and took photos. You don't want to go where I'm going. Um, Today they took photos of my house to list it, and it's going on the market on Wednesday, and the open house is on Sunday. But I've been spending the past month, like, making my house look like nobody lives in it. So, oh no. We are having capitalism. Sorry, I completely missed that capitalism had started. But at least now we have a full hour of no pre-rolls. Yay, thank you. I try to do like 3 minutes every hour so that I don't do pre-rolls, because pre-rolls basically suck. So I try to prevent them from happening. Yeah, it is easier, but it means like, so I don't want pre-rolls basically ever, which means that I run a set of ads while I have my like coming soon stream. But then within the half hour, it like runs ads again. But that's okay. Then it sort of evens out to hourly. So that was 2 rows, and I think that was about 15 minutes ish, something like that. Well, we're going to do 2 more rows, and then we're going to remeasure because my gauge is somewhere between 4 and 4.5 rows to an inch. And also this is now 100 rows of pattern. Wouldn't it be cool if like 102 was the total? Okay. We're doing a crossover here for the cables. Do not jump off my needle. Only jump off the needle once I've knitted you, not before. Also, yes, I talk to my stitches because I do. We're doing a crossover again. Which way is this one going? Same way, okay. Yeah, basically. Well, and I like using metal needles because then everything slides easier, but then everything slides easier. So some discipline is needed for the stitches. Yes. To know who is boss. Not who's in charge, because anybody who has survived through 80s and 90s TV knows that Charles is in charge. Obviously. Of our days and our lives. Anyway, I'm old, as you can tell. Yeah, I think I discovered in my last stream that the age of my ability to knit is slightly more than double your age, Ian. Hey, Pukra, how are you? Yeah. So, that is a thing. Did my music just like end? Did my mouse not work? Okay. And did we end? Yes, we played through all of these, and we're going to restart because there is no way to make this thing actually redo all of the things. So it's like 2 hours of music that I am playing over and over again. It's from that service that Zakayla recommended, but also have like not been reading ahead in the pattern, so I don't actually know what's next. I think it's the ribbing and then the bind off. And I think it's like 2.5 inches or something like that of ribbing, because the length of the sweater it comes out to about 17 inches from armhole. And I'm still undecided about whether I want to increase the needle size for the sleeves. Why do you think that? What makes you think that? Other than like not wanting to knit very long. I mean, yeah, definitely try it on as you go, but also, well, okay, but like, where are you measuring to? Right? Like, if you look at the picture, right? So, like, I've got a picture right there at the bottom of the screen. That sweater covers her butt. Right, like, which part of your hips? The top of your pelvic bone? Or, like, the divot of the pelvic bone? Or, like, you know. Okay, but this cardigan is designed to cover your butt. Like, that's what this cardigan is supposed to do. You already said that you're going to make it again with only pearls in the middle, which is fine. But you can make that one shorter. But like, it's like, I don't know. It's like making a recipe, right? The first time you follow the recipe. The second time you're like, okay, we're going to quadruple the garlic and substitute mushrooms instead of the carrots. And I don't think it actually needs chicken. I'm going to instead put some tofu and like change these other 12 things. But to do that, you first have to make it the way the recipe says to make it, so you sort of understand what it's supposed to be doing. It's the same with these things. Like, you make it the way the pattern says, and then you mess with it the next time around. Also, aren't you the one who picked this pattern? Why did you pick a pattern that does that if you do not want it to do that? Who picked the pattern? Like, I came into this whole thing late. So, okay. Switch to the back chart. Vintage picked it. Ah, okay. Did she pick it for herself or for you? Of course. I mean, and these are some glorious cables. Like, these are some kick-ass cables for sure. Have you seen the patterns for sweaters from the girl from Auntie? She hasn't published any patterns in like a decade. So the ones that are up on Rav. Ooh, yeah, that would be nice. You should check it out. Oh, let me see. I need to share this. This must be shared. Hang on, because the Rogue and the Heiress are too amazing to not share. I am literally getting you a link right now. Please hold. Please hold. The call is important to us. I am scrolling through my Ravelry account. Just for you. Hang on. been a little while since I've made it. Okay, that's the Eris. Find all of her patterns. Okay. So this is the Rogue. The Rogue was so the Rogue is a pullover, but many people have adapted it into a cardigan. It's not all the cables all the time, but it's enough cables to be pretty damn cool. And she also did the Eris. But like, where are... This is the Eris as a... Yeah, the Eris is a cardigan by design. I've done I've done the Rogue as a split cardi, and I've done it as a pullover, and it's pretty nice. Do I have any pictures of what I finished? No, of course not. Pictures of my Rogue. Did I not take pictures of that? This is the other Eris. Did I take full pictures of like the finished one? No. Why would I have done that? Yeah, then there's also this one. It's by somebody else. It's called The Amused, and I really also liked making this one. This one was pretty cool too. I have a thing about cables. So that one was pretty cool to make. Oh yes, and the Rudra. This one is also a pullover, and I don't think this one can be easily made into a cardigan, but with some planning could be. So that one was also a lot of fun to make. I made it in like a nice dark blue. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Now that I'm like just pulling up some of the fun cables that I've been working on. Oh, and the one that I finished very recently is the Ray, which was also some nice cables and quite fun. This one I just finished making recently. Here, let me send you this is the link to my RAV of it. I got yarn from the Blue Brick, the folks in Canada, the ones who made the yarn for the original wingspan that like everybody was making go viral. She has amazing yarn. She has amazing yarn that comes in like 1800 yard skeins of continuous gradient. And I love buying from her because, I mean, that's fine. I have a lot of random things on my RAV. But so Blue Brick, the thing I really love is that I go and I like sort of make peace with the fact that I'm buying $150 worth of yarn. And then I get my bill and I'm like, oh yeah, that was 150 Canadian dollars. It's actually only like 120 or whatever. And then I feel like I found, like, it's like finding $20 in your pocket after doing laundry. Like it's obviously your money, but and you didn't actually save anything, but it feels great. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm with it. But yeah, but yes, if you have not looked at, I think it's like thebluebrick.ca or something like that. Here, let me find her actual website. Her yarn is insane. Insane. I have not, like, there's not a single thing I bought from her that I've not loved. Love it. And she's like a human in Canada with her spouse and her dog, and I think her mom was helping for a while there. Like, not exactly a big business or anything like that. Okay. All right, so what are we doing? That was the first. Okay, so I did that. Now we're doing 1 over. Two, are we moving? Yes, we are moving these two in and this one out. And then we're going to do the same thing with these two rows. We're going to split that cable. Take a careful look at her, like, different bases and things, and I don't know if you use Facebook, but like get on her Facebook group because she describes what she's doing and what's coming up and stuff. So like for the Ray one, the one that I just made, the yarn that I used, I actually bought it as she has like a concept of a sweater kit where you can basically, like, she packages it such that when you then knit like your sweater, top down, she then has separate skeins for the sleeves so that the gradient matches. And you can buy extensions, like you want a bottom of the gradient extension or a top of the gradient extension if like your sweater is longer than a certain size and stuff, right? So because I really love gradients, and sorry, I'm shaking my camera. And I love making sweaters out of them, and I love making shawls out of them, especially. But the amount of yarn you need for a sweater or a shawl is generally speaking longer than most gradients are sold. And you end up in this problem where you're gonna have a problem because of that. So anytime I find somebody selling a very nice long gradient, right? Like 1800 yards is about what I need for a sweater for my body size or for a shawl that I like that is a big triangle. So the fact that she has the mammoth skeins, and because she's a shawl knitter, so like she accounts for that. To me, that's really fucking cool because it's not very common. But yeah. Because everybody seems to do their gradients in like sock-sized skeins, and like that's good, but I don't actually like making socks, and I don't like wearing hand knit socks because I feel like I am destroying something that I spent a lot of time on because, like, I wear holes into my socks. I do not wear shoes mostly in the house. So, like, I slip and slide on them and then I destroy them, and I don't want to do that to something that I spent time on. So I make socks when people ask me for socks, but I mostly don't bother. I prefer shawls and sweaters, and like hats and scarves are fine, mittens and gloves and things are fine, but less so socks. Um, Also, I really like knitting amigurumi because everybody keeps telling me that you can only crochet amigurumi, and like, that's that. Yeah, yeah. You know when I wear my hand knit socks? When I go on a spinning meetup or a spinning class where everybody's going to take their shoes off, and showing off your hand knit socks is like what everybody's doing. I am not going to wear them when I'm like, cooking in my kitchen and stepping on whatever I dropped and like nonsense. Now I'm going to wear like the cheap, crappy socks I bought at Target. So, yeah. I I bought a pair of cashmere socks. They were something obscene. Like for socks, they were like, I don't know, 30 or 40 bucks a pair for one pair. I wear them exclusively, like they're in a drawer next to my bed. I wear those socks when I know that I'm going to get in bed and it's going to take me multiple hours to get warm enough to sleep because it's December in Massachusetts and because I don't wear shoes in my house. So I put those socks on, and in like 10 minutes, my feet are warm. And when my feet are warm, the rest of me like becomes warm. So they're like magical. They're worth every penny I paid for them, and I've had them for I think 20 years because I wear them to bed sometimes in the winter. And cashmere is amazing for that, and too warm for me for any other reason. Like, my dad swears by these like super thin, lovely, gorgeous cashmere sweaters, and I think I would just boil. But, make him happy, so he buys them. But yeah, that's like my wool socks thing. All right, what am I doing? Am knitting. I end up like I run cool based on like thermometer, right? Like normal people are like, what is it supposed to be, 98 point something, and I'm usually 96 something. But I get warm very quickly, and also, yeah, also Florida. Yeah, so I'm making this cardigan and I'm moving to the desert. So like it'll be great. I will wear it instead of a coat in the winter. Yeah, I don't go outside at night though. I mean, like I do, but not, the dead of night. Also, it doesn't get that cold. It's so funny. So I went over there in January to visit my parents. And my mom was like, "Oh my god, it is so cold. I need like my puffy winter coat." And she has those like puffy coats from Uniqlo, whatever that she wears. And I'm wearing my sweatshirt, and she's freaking out that I'm not wearing a coat. And I'm just like, It's like 50. That's not winter coat weather. But she is now used to it. And, like, for her, it is now super cold winter weather. 50 is a light, thin sweatshirt weather. Right? Like, in the summer, I keep my house at 72 because it hurts me to pay more for air conditioning. In the winter, I set my thermostat to 67 because anything over 75 is too many degrees to be alive, and anything over 70 is merely uncomfortable. And this is why I only go to Florida in November. And only to the land of Disney, which is full of air conditioning. Okay, what is going on? Why am I like off by one somewhere? Okay, let's see. We purled 4, and we knit 1, 2, 3, 4. And we purled. Am I like missing a stitch somewhere? Yes, I am just. It's not that I'm missing a stitch, it's that I am just being stupid. Okay. Let's unknit this and stop being stupid. Yeah, but like, January is not the right, like, that is not theme park weather, and theme park is the only reason I ever have to be in Florida. So, November, like, right before the week of Thanksgiving is perfect time for me, for Disney. But I sold my DVC. I sold my Disney Vacation Club property. That just went through a couple of days ago, actually. Like, I get it, but 30 is also not exactly winter weather. This one over. Right. Okay. Yeah. Like legit. And I grew up where it was routinely like negative 35 in the winter. Like, that point in time where Celsius and Fahrenheit meet up. So, like, that's actually cold. Yeah, Ian, I grew up in Russia. It got very cold. You would not. You know why you would not? So, people wear actually weather appropriate clothing over there. They don't make actual appropriate clothing for that kind of weather. Sorry, over here. They just don't, because it doesn't get that cold. But also, you know what you never see when it's minus 35 degrees in Russia? You don't see people like wearing their winter coats unzipped, because if they zipped them up, it would look like they have no pants on because their skirt is so short. Or stupid shit like that, because people are not idiots. You wear appropriate clothing and then you're fine. This is true for any of like the countries that are like that. Norway, Finland, anything like that. Okay, it hits 0 here all the time. But, like, whatever, it's 0. It does not stay cold, and, like, it hasn't been very cold. Like, we haven't had like a big snowstorm or snow accumulation in forever. Like in five ever, honestly. Um like, people used to say, "Oh yeah, um you've got like nor'easters and stuff," and like, sure, but we haven't had one in I don't even know however long. Okay, where are we? So we did 2 Oh, excuse me. Oh my god. Why am I yawning? How is that reasonable at 9 o'clock? I did get up at 7, but still. Yeah, I had the cleaner come. Um, I got my friend's cleaner to come and clean my house because of the aforementioned photos. But she came at like 7:30 a.m. to get just to do like a last minute pass on the kitchen because she came and cleaned last week, like did a deep clean, but did a pass on the kitchen because like I've been using my kitchen to make food in, but they were coming to do the photos, and so it needs to look like nobody lives here. So she came in the morning, and I needed to be awake for that, and then the realtor came to do like the last minute walkthrough, and then he and the photographer did stuff while I was elsewhere, and then I got to come back. But it means that I've been kind of awake for a while. I did get like, I don't know, I got maybe 7 or 8 hours of sleep last night though, so like it should be fine. I realized that I'm not keeping an eye on my thing, which is the thing that tells me when it's going to be capitalism again. Okay, good. No, we've got some time. We've got time before more capitalism happens. Okay. Scintillating entertainment of watching me count to 4 and sometimes fuck it up. And I don't even have a fun cat to entertain people on stream because I am so very allergic. I keep thinking that I need to like get a goldfish and put a goldfish camera on it. All of my knowledge of cats eating yarn comes from having friends who are veterinarians telling me how incredibly expensive it is when your cat eats yarn and then has to like have weird cat surgery. I have a friend who recently his cat ate string with a needle on it, like thread, needle and thread, and $5,000 later, the cat's fine. And I continue to not have pets because, yeah. This was supposed to be. Yeah. That's the 4. This is the thing. For the 4. This is the 4 knits. Okay, it was a needle. So, yeah. I think if it was just a string, they would have just monitored, but it was a needle attached on the string. Yeah, like a sewing needle, a sharp kind. So, endoscopy and extraction. And the cat is fine. But yeah, cat ate sewing thread and needle. Yeah, correct. And yeah, like the regular string or ribbon or whatever, I guess they poop them out. But like it still can get pretty dangerous, so it's better to like watch them carefully at the very least. But you know, either way, I get to hear lots of stories of cats and string and continue to not have cats. I just know so many streamers who have like a cat cam and stuff. And like it's pretty cool. Like I enjoy watching their pets on stream because I don't have any, but still. Right. So it's a question of how much of your yarn the cat needs. And it's funny too because like I have friends who've got cats who have zero interest in any yarn, and I've got friends who have cats where they're like, if I want to knit, I have to make sure I go into a room with the door that's closed, and the cat is going to yowl outside, and I cannot let the cat anywhere near me because he will eat the string, and that will be terrible. And it's just like, how do you like get the cats that don't like string if you're a fiber artist? Like somebody needs to like breed for that trait and then charge a lot of money, which I'm sure already happens because capitalism and all that, but still. I just drop a stitch. right? Like some people sell hypoallergenic cats. Somebody needs to be like, this cat ignores all string. You can do whatever you want with string, and this cat will have no interest in it. No guarantees. And like charge an arm and a leg for it. I mean, people will do it. People will buy. Because people are people. That's good. Is he like a young cat? I was just wondering, like, if you were starting the training early in his life or in his middle age. Something, 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 old dog, new tricks kind of thing. Okay, it's time to measure again. Let us measure. Measure it like the bottom of the armpit, not like in like a random place. Ha 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 ha. It is 15. It's 15. We are done with that part. Okay, what are we doing next? Okay. Okay. Work a knit one, purl one ribbing for 2 inches. Bind off using 1 strand. Ah, interesting. Well, are you feeling better enough to be able to knit again? So you should do that then. Okay. So no more pattern. We are just doing a 1-1 rib for 2 inches. I should try this on, at least like a little bit. It's hard because my needle is not actively long enough. But I should try it on like at least a little bit. Alright, hang on. I don't think you guys are gonna be able to see when I try this on, but I should be able to at least try it on full length. Yeah, and it's gonna add 2 inches. This is perfect. Because I do want it to cover my butt. Okay. Yeah, yes, there are 2 inches of ribbing in addition to that. Because, like, if you look at the little diagram, thank you. If you look at the little diagram right where they tell you what the length of what is, from armpit down to the end is 17 inches. It's 15 inches that we just knit, plus 2 inches of ribbing. Okay. There we go. Hopefully this will go faster. Oh, as opposed to in the round? I mean, you just... It's the same as doing ribbing in the round. You just, you know, you will see your knits and purls, and you will purl your purls and knit your knits. Right? Like, it's not like you need to, like, do the reverse of things in pattern or whatever. And it's not like you need to do the weird stuff that the seed stitch was doing. It's just a question of making sure you start with the correct stitch. So, like, whatever you end with, you start with the other one. But, like, yeah, I mean, like, valid. And it gets a little, like, it's a little weird on the first row because you are, like, you're building the pattern of ribbing. But especially with the 1-1, that is it's the original simple ribbing, right? So. But yeah, like, looking at this, the way the cables are and the way that the yarn is being bulky because it's held double, like, I am going to need to steam block the living snot out of these cables because they are so stiff. Wonder why we're binding off with one strand. I guess to make it a little bit more elastic. I'm gonna need to go and look at all the different bind offs that people posted because I think the bind off that I normally use is not going to preserve the elasticity enough. So I'm gonna see. Yeah, basically you so I'm carrying 2. I would snip one of them, it'll get bound in or woven in, and the other one bound off and get woven in on the other end. And that's just, I think, to have a neater looking edge and preserve the stretchy. But like, I'm gonna have a billion ends to weave in at the end, so that's fine. What's one more? I think once I finish the ribbing, like now it looks like, you know, the end is in sight. I might be able to finish the ribbing today. Not gonna start the sleeves today. I think that's tomorrow's problem. But I have, I joined a cross-stitch Monopoly board. So I have stitches I need to do on my cross-stitch. It's still stream time. I might see if I can figure out how to move my camera so that you can actually see mine. Which I am doing off of my tablet. I have to switch what's doing my Stream Deck functionality. You could. You could. I wouldn't. And the reason is that if you run out of yarn, you can make your cowl or whatever, the trim, narrower and not lose too much. But if you do it first and then you're like got 1.5 sleeves, you're kind of fucked. And I think that's one of the main reasons why that's done that way. I don't believe that there's anything structural that tells you to do it later. With sleeves, it'll also fit differently than as a like as a vest, which is what it is now. So it'll hang a little different because it'll have like sleeve caps and stuff. And so the drape's gonna change a little. So that's gonna also change a little bit of how you pick up. My plan for picking up the stitches is because I actively want it to be very, very even. And they're telling me to pick up about 6 stitches for every 10 rows. So I'm gonna put a stitch marker every freaking 10 rows and make sure that I put 6 stitches in between them. Because I have a tendency to like pick up things and have like very, very, very many from like this small section, but not enough like on the other end as I, you know, end up with a steady number. So I'm gonna try to do that, but yeah, I don't think there's any too much structural, but it could end up pulling a little weird. But I think it's mostly because of yes, correct. That is standard. So basically, right, if you think about it, you're gonna have like your rows going this way, but then your edging rows are gonna go this way, right? So they're gonna be a little bit log cabin to each other. If you remember your gauge, the gauge was like, let me actually look it up so that I'm not like lying here, but let me find the gauge. Where did they list it? I think it's on gauge. So it's 12 stitches and 17 rows are a 4x4 square, because a knit stitch is not a square, right? And especially when it's bulky like this. That's why you can buy special knitting graph paper where it's like they're not squares. Like you don't chart out knitting patterns on graph paper because it doesn't. Yeah. So if you think about it, you would need to have 12 stitches in 17 rows. So that's six stitches in 8.5, 9. And they're telling you approximately 6 stitches per 10 rows, which is about making it about even. And so, yeah, it's very common. It is very common to make it like that. Yep. This is the same as for weaving, where you do charts for weaving. Your stitches are taller than they're wider. So you can't use like normal graph paper there either. When I find my hair in the sweater. Crochet stitches are very different, even Tunisian crochet, which I really need to try. I have never tried it, and I really need to try it, and it is okay. We're back from the capitalism. I was trying. And I was failing. I think I might end up having to jump off stream. How many stitches total was I supposed to have? Because, like, do I have that number of stitches? Let's see. When I joined all the things, it was supposed to be really only 166 stitches total. Well, it can't be because I just ended on a knit, which means that it's the wrong number of stitches. I mean, I keep hearing about mosaic crochet, and I have not done that ever of any sort, so knit, purl, knit, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, knit, purl, 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 knit. Well, I found my 2 knit stitches in a row, and they are thankfully very, very, very close to. Very close to the end, so. Yeah, shouldn't I learn like normal Tunisian crochet first before I try to learn the mosaic kind? I mean, I'm looking at how great that is working out for you with this cardigan, so like, I'm not sure I should be taking that advice from you, of all people. Like, you're probably not wrong, but, you know. Perhaps it shouldn't be like the literal first thing I do. Okay. I think that was, in fact, the place. Okay. Purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Perfect. And yeah, I am probably going to make a pot holder. And then once I have made the pot holder, I will try something else. But first, This is our second row of webbing. Let's see what it looks like. Because apparently it's not that I can't count to 4, I can't count to 1. I'm bad at counting to 1. Yeah, that looks not bad. Needs blocking badly. But, we knew that. We knew that was going to be the case. What is happening I'm trying to. Yeah, I do not have any of the hooks for Tunisian crochet, but I am gonna potentially borrow some from my bestie who does know how to do it, and she's a big crocheter. Try it. It looks cool, but I also don't know like what I necessarily would make with Tunisian crochet that I can't make with knitting or regular crochet. So. Oh, I also don't know how long I'm gonna actually be able to keep streaming because I'm developing that headache again. I hate it because I can't take ibuprofen. I have to take special prescription pain meds for pain, and they are like somewhat dangerous, so I don't want to take them kind of willy-nilly because they have potentially some pretty bad side effects. So I sort of only take them when it's like real bad. So I kind of don't want to let it get too bad. So I just realized that my little flag is getting cut off by my chat bubble overlay. And that's not okay. There we go. Oh yeah, no, you're not wrong. And hydrate. Everybody hydrate. Preferably in a non-alcoholic way, but I'm not your mom, so. Yeah. Well, that's sort of the other reason I actually don't mind the capitalism breaks, because it kind of gives me a reminder to, get up and stretch and refill the beverage and go use the restroom and all that stuff that I just kind of forget to do otherwise when I'm streaming continuously. or really like don't, things I forget to do, like even when I'm not streaming, but just like doing something that's fairly absorbing. Like, thank God books are portable. Or as a child, I would like, I don't know, never ever move, never get food, never use the restroom. I just walked everywhere with the book in front of me. And these days, that's crafts or computer or whatever. That's why I find it so funny when people complain about, kids these days, nose buried in cell phones at the kitchen, at the dinner table, end of civilization. And I'm just thinking, like, there is not a single member of my family that did not come to dinner with a book. And we sat there and we ate our dinner and we read the books. Sometimes we stopped and told each other about the books. But mostly, no. Mostly we just wandered around with our noses in the books. And the phones are no different. Because when you don't want to interact with other humans, you don't want to interact with other humans. And the level of technological advances might change exactly what the device you're using to ignore the humans with looks like, but fundamentally, it's nothing new. To be fair, my dad sometimes had the paper and stuff. Same principle, really. Yeah, same these days, to be fair. Same. And my problem is that I, A, really mostly listen to the books, but B, I can only really listen to things like that in a car when I'm driving it. Same with podcasts. I, if I'm not driving a car, I tune out the audio too much. So, like, I end up having to rewind and re-listen. But driving, like, is, I think, for me at least, the perfect balance of my brain is occupied with something else, but not too occupied with something else. I need something a little bit more engaging as my background, which is why it's usually streams or uh, something streaming like on YouTube or some other stuff. I just subscribed to Dropout, so I have been binge watching Well Actually, which is fucking hilarious. So that is 2 rows of thing. See, for me, the streams are not full distraction for. Like, it depends on what I'm doing, right? Like, if what I'm doing is crafts, then streams are a perfect amount of distraction. Because streams are as much distraction as a movie. I just sometimes talk back to the stream as opposed to talking back to the movie. But if I am trying to do like work, uh, or something where I have to like do math, for example, like real math, not count to four, I then the stream is too distracting. But this is also like before the Adderall wears off, late in the evening, like everything is 100% distracting. How did we manage to be off camera? I need to not T-Rex it. I am so excited to be done with those 15 pages of nonsense that was just going so slowly. And like I know that the sleeves are gonna have a ton of the cable pattern as well, but at least they will be like a short round. It's like I hadn't pressed that recently. Just keep like sliding it off. thinking this border is probably going to be anywhere from 8 to 10 rows. Am I gonna start falling asleep again? Because if I'm starting to fall asleep again, then that's a problem. Not like the worst problem in the world. Enough of a problem that it probably would stop streaming, and in fact, it just don't think it's that bad. Normally I stay up forever and ever and ever, but not when I get up at 7. Yeah, that's where I'm at too, right? Like normally I do not go to sleep until very, very, very late at night. So late at night that it is early in the morning. Like that, but it's been a day, so oh, look, there's my ribbon. Ribbing. I love one by one ribbing. Like not because it's extra fun to knit or anything. It's just that I like the way that it looks because it just looks like a regular knitting, right? Because the purl rows just vanish into the stretchiness of it. For the ribbing, I don't know. Did they tell me to go down a size? Because nope. No, so this is in the same one. They do tell me that I want to increase my needle for the sleeves, right? It says, note some knitters may find they need to size up a needle when working in a small circumference in the round. We suggest checking your gauge for best fit. So for the ribbing, I didn't. But I'm still unsure if I want to go up a size for the sleeve or not. Kayla's knitting bulky, and she said she didn't need to. So I might not bother either. Why? Do you have like giant muscles or something? Oh, okay. So then maybe I do want to go up to an 11. Well, maybe that's reason for you to also go up a needle size, because that'll make it bigger. Like a little bit bigger, not a full sweater size bigger. Especially because you didn't make the armscye for your sweater a different size. So, like, fitting in a different size sleeve into the same, like a smaller size armscye is gonna not work very well. But just go up a needle size and it'll be just a little bit bigger. And I do a lot of sewing, and fitting a sleeve into an armscye is basically hell in sewing, or at least for me. Like, I don't think I've made a single garment where I did not have to take out at least one sleeve to put it in correctly. 50% of the time, put it in incorrectly again the same way, have to take it out a second time. So, like, I am just acutely aware of that particular bit of fitting. Ian, did you ever get your pottery wheel set up to be like streamable, or has that not happened yet? Did I like? 'Cause I missed like a month or so of your streams and no idea what is going on in them. I think I remember you were talking about setting up a pottery wheel. Oh, darn, I missed it. Are there VODs? Can I go like that? I want to see. Because that just always looked so hard, like, to stream. I know we raided into that dude in New Hampshire a couple of days ago, and I watched him a few times since, who was doing pottery on stream, and it's just so soothing to look at. Oh, sad face. Do you move your VODs to like YouTube or something? I move all of mine with like no editing to YouTube. Okay, that would be cool. I really want to see. Pottery is one of the things that I mean, I tried it in, class or whatever in school, but I have not like done it for realsies, and I was very not good at it. So over my life, I've sort of come to the conclusion that in the world of arts and crafts, I am much, much better and enjoy much more the crafts than the arts. And ceramics were always sort of in the arts category for me. Yeah, like my brother, who is an architect, but like he's a painter. He paints. He paints very well. He is an artist. I am a crafter. And primarily I craft things with string. Weaving, knitting, sewing, spinning, like all that stuff. All string all the time. I mean, all clothes are made of string. All clothes are made of string, except for the things that are made out of animal skin. So, string or critter skin. That's our choices for clothes. Basically what we got. Okay, so this is yeah, so there's 4 rows of yeah, it's about an inch. It's like I like the way this. I mean, obviously it needs blocking, but I like the way this ribbing works. Doesn't look bad at the bottom of the cable either, which I was a little worried about. But that looks fairly okay. And again, stretches nicely as well. Okay, not bad. Okay. It does. Well, and the thing is, I mean, right, like, this is a two stitch cable and one of them is a knit that comes out. Like, it's supposed to kind of blend in. Like, I don't think that's a camera thing. I think that's actually what's happening. Right? Like, if you look at it, obviously, like, one of these is a knit, one of them is going to be not, but because these squish together, it sort of makes it look like the cables are just coming out of the thing. Which, again, is, I think, what it's supposed to be doing. So, yeah, I really like it. And that's another reason why the 1-1 cable as opposed to like a 2-2 or something like that. Because a 2-2 would not do that as much. Especially with a bulky yarn like this, the pearls wouldn't just quite disappear in a 2-2, and it wouldn't look as good for the cables, especially if like the 2-stitch cables did not quite line up necessarily with like the 2 knit stitches over 2-2 rib. So 1-1 is a much smarter choice here, just in terms of how this stuff ends up flowing. Okay, I think I need to stop being on stream because I am not a super functional human right now. I might keep knitting, but I might not. I might stop and actually just go to bed because it's 10 o'clock. Um, I don't even want to go see who is on. Like, we are not rating. I can't even. I accomplished the thing I meant to do, which was finish the stupid 15 inches of nonsense and start the rib. Thank you for hanging out, Ian. I hope you feel up to knitting your cardigan soon. You gotta catch up, and also get sleep because if I recall, you said you were also gonna. Oh yay! I'm glad. Yeah, I have like no schedule. My streams happen right now whenever I go. Like I have a couple of hours. I don't feel like I'm gonna pass out immediately. I should get on stream. At some point, I will have a schedule, but right now, with the house, everything is just too hectic for that. But I will be back later. And good luck catching up. Do it for spite, like the rest of us. The spite sweater. Do it to spite yourself, maybe? I don't know. Do it to spite Mousy. I don't think she thinks you'll finish. So, go for it. All right. We'll see folks later. Thanks for hanging out and have a good night.